when I'm not checking the mail, I don't know what kind of bills are in there. And that's sort of what happens when I shine the light of my attention on these character defects. I realize there's a whole bunch of stuff that I probably haven't been paying attention to for a long time. Welcome back to the Struggle and Strive podcast. My name is Estil Wallace. I'm your host. You are joining us in the middle of our 12-step series. We're unpacking the 12 steps. Today, we're going to talk about steps 6 and 7. If you don't have a downloadable study guide and you would like one, just go over to struggleandstrive.co and you can download a free study guide to follow along with us if you want to nerd out on it. All right, let's get into it. We're talking about steps 6 and 7 today. Step 6 is all about willingness and 7 is about action. In my experience, these two steps are really symbiotic, and I'll explain what that means as we kind of go through this chunk. But they really do work together. Step 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. So we've identified character defects through steps 4 and 5, hopefully with a sponsor, with somebody that's done this work before. And now the idea is to take these defects to prayer, to God, and ask for their removal so that we can improve the way we operate in the world, the way we operate with ourselves and with others. So 6 is we're entirely ready to have all these defects removed, which is a little strange to think about. Like, I'm just ready. There's no action. I'm just becoming willing to be willing to let them go. And that can be asking a lot, particularly if my character defects have been used for survival for a long time, which is many cases that's how it is. Step 7 is where we humbly ask God to remove our shortcomings. So now we're taking an action. Rather than breaking them all down, what I'd like to do is give you a practical application. When I pray specifically for defects to be removed, what happens is I become painfully aware of how strong they actually are in my life. To illustrate this, like, think about, you ever play slug bug when you're driving around with like on a road trip with your friends or something? I don't think I've seen a Volkswagen Beetle in years, but if me and Danny got in a car right now, we're driving around the city playing slug bug, I bet one of us would spot one inside of 2 or 3 minutes. And that comes from my mind's awareness, being drawn to something. Suddenly, I start to become aware of how prevalent something is. People call that the law of attraction. People call it a lot of different things. It's a natural phenomenon that once you shine the light of your attention on something, it seemingly expands. This has been my experience with steps 6 and 7. I ask for anger, right, to be removed. Let's say I'm a road rager. I'm not at all, actually. But let's say I am. Let's say I have a real hard time and I'm just always in battle behind the wheel. And I realize that it's come up in my inventory. We inventory it. My sponsor points it out. Yeah, you're super mad behind the wheel. You're going to get shot. You're acting like a crazy person. This is, the character defect here is anger. It's anger and it's self-seeking. So what I then do is I take that into prayer and I say, God, I ask that you now remove from me every single defect of character that stands in the way of my usefulness to you and to my fellows. I'm quoting out of the book. But I really insert that specific defect. I ask that you remove my anger, that you let me be slow to anger so that I can get from my house to work in one piece without getting mad at anybody. And if I really do that in all earnest and I really meant the prayer, what happens almost like clockwork is everybody's a shitty driver. Everybody. And it's a new opportunity for me to then become willing, if I'm able. If I am willing to let it go, then I can go back and ask again. So they sort of cycle around with each other. I ask for defects to be removed. I become painfully aware of how strong they are. Then I have a new opportunity to ask again. And getting used to the process of being willing and then letting go, becoming aware, being willing, letting go. There's practice to it. Like most of the steps, this exercise is really a muscle that can be strengthened over time. And over time, what happens is God does take my defects. When I'm not checking the mail, I don't know what kind of bills are in there. And that's sort of what happens when I shine the light of my attention on these character defects. I realize there's a whole bunch of stuff that I probably haven't been paying attention to for a long time. And some of them really detrimental to the way I operate in the world, to my relationships, to my marriage, to my relationship with my kids, with anything. So I would really recommend pick one, maybe the one that gives you the most pain right away, and just try it on. Just try it as an experiment. Take whether it's anger or lust or whatever you've got, self-seeking behavior, like always expecting people to act a certain way and they just don't. Like, take whatever character defect you're seeing that's really causing a lot of pain in your life, take it to prayer, ask God to take it from you, and allow yourself to be open-minded and watch how much of it seems to pile on. There's an old adage, they say, careful what you pray for, you just might get it. It's an interesting saying because it seems true, it seems almost like a magic trick, but the truth is, it's not that if you pray for patience that God's gonna make you patient or test your patience. You're shining the light of your attention on how impatient you are. And you just wasn't revealed to you before how little patience you were really displaying in your daily activities. Once you bring that light of attention onto it, it can be a pretty harsh reminder of how much work there is to do. 6, 7, pretty short video. This isn't super long. I hope you got something from it. If you have questions or you want to do a deeper dive on this, please let us know in the comments. Ask any questions that you have if you want to go a little deeper. And other than that, we'll see you the next time.